So good afternoon. It's high noon here in Real Country. This is Bob Furr sitting in for Marc McMain on the Marc McMain Show on Q92.3. I'll be here today and Tuesdays for the foreseeable future while Marc is out there seeking a seat in the state Senate. So Chastity, I'm pretty excited today. That's why I was away from my microphone. I guess I got carried away here.
Yes,
not every day you get a professional sports team in the studio. And we've got that today. Yes. So did you hear that they're talking about building a multi-billion dollar sports and entertainment and residential complex in Alpharetta? And it's all going to be designed around an arena for an NHL team.
Wow.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Well, it is, but I might be a little bit wary. What do you think it costs just to get permission from the NHL, just to get the license to have an NHL team?
Jeez. A couple of $100,000.
$2 billion with a B dollars.
Billion?
Right, and that's before you spend the multi-billion dollars to build the arena and the park. And let's not forget, we've already had two NHL teams here in Atlanta. We had back in 1972, 1980, we had the Atlanta Flames. That was owned by a real estate guy named Tom Cousins, and he had to sell the team.
Kind of sizzled out.
He had to sell the team because of bad economy, financial problems. So they're the Calgary Flames, who, by the way, names a hockey team, and who names their team after their city getting burned down by an invading army. I never understood that one. And then we got the Thrashers, and that was an interesting story. They had an ownership group that had 14 different owners. And they spent about half their time suing each other.
Wow.
And so that was a mess, and now that group is off, and they're the Winnipeg Jets. So now they're talking about bringing us a third hockey team.
Third time's a charm.
That's right. That's what I think they should be named, is the Charms. That's exactly right. So, hey, so in the studio with us today is Scott Hall. He's the president of the Athens Rock Lobsters, and Britton Briley, who is the man behind the magic, I call him, the marketing of the Rock Lobsters. He's with Ghost Brands. How would you guys like to work for a team that had 14 different owners?
That'd be a nightmare.
I don't know how it could be done.
Yeah, too many chefs in one kitchen.
Well, let's get into it, guys, because I can only describe the Rock Lobsters as a phenomenon. I mean, I've been really amazed by it. But before we get into that, let's get to know you guys a little bit. Scott, we'll start with you. Tell us a little bit about who you are, your background, where you're from, and how you ended up in Athens as the president of a professional hockey team.
Yeah, absolutely, and thanks for having us on here, Bob. Really appreciate it. I'm originally from Tulsa, Oklahoma. So it's crazy to believe that I'm in hockey now. I've been in hockey for 6 years. Baseball was my background. Played college baseball at Oklahoma State and thought I was going to be in baseball growing up, going into my career and everything. And it's funny where the sports world takes you. I'm very humbled where I'm at today. But my background a little bit. I worked in 4 years in minor league baseball, 2 years in professional soccer in St. Louis, and then I got with our ownership group, which is Spire, and I was in Greenville, South Carolina, with the Swamp Rabbits for 2 seasons or 2 years, and then transitioned up to Rapid City, South Dakota, with our sister team up there for a year and a half, and then we got Athens here in Georgia and came down here and been here right at 2 years, and it's been a phenomenal ride.
Well, there'll be some people out there listening that know hockey, and you got the last name for it with a name like Hall.
I do.
That's for sure.
When I lived in St. Louis, the Blues won the Stanley Cup in 19, and trust me, it was nice having that last name in St. Louis.
Yeah,
sure.
For those listening out there, the Hull family, a big name in hockey. And Britton, how about you? Tell us a little bit about your background in Ghost Brands and how you got involved with the Rock.
Well, I've been in marketing for like 13, 14 years, all for different organizations. Obviously, started my own company back in 2018. But I've always considered myself an employee, part of the team, part of the culture. Been boots on the ground with Scott since 2023 in November. But really, no, yeah, I've been obviously with the parent company, Spire, as well, show them love. I was with the Greenville Swampers for 5.5 years, and when they said, hey, there's a hockey team that we're going to start building in Athens, we want you down there. It's like, perfect. Who do I got? They said, Scott. I said, ooh, perfect. We're the perfect duo. And so that's sort of where I've been on that side. But I've been, CMO for UFC Gym out of Santa Ana, California, regional market director for GNC out of Pennsylvania. I've sort of marketing my bread and butter, sort of the same thing with branding. So
Awesome. So let's hear the story. I guess I'll just put it out there and let you guys take it from there. So when and how did a professional ice hockey team end up in Athens, Georgia?
Yeah, Britton can add on to it if I miss anything, but the process started in 2023. When I was in Rapid City, I first heard rumblings of it, and rumblings of the team coming that summer. And then I came down in December to check out the arena, which was still under construction. Got very, very excited about it and realized this was a real possibility that's going to happen. And I moved down here. I'm a Chiefs fan as well, so Chiefs won the Super Bowl. The next day I moved down to Athens, so it's easy for me to remember. She was my fiance at the time, but now my wife. We spent our Valentine's Day dinner at Zaxby's as we traveled down to Athens. So I got down here in February. Britton and I were already in conversation of our vision and what we were looking for with this team. And then in March, we had our first press conference, really, proactively announcing that pro hockey was coming to Athens. Britton can chime in on this too, but the number one goal that we had in mind, and we knew this was our vision, is we're a community team first, a hockey team second.
Yeah.
So we knew we wanted to dive into the community, get to know the folks here in Athens and the surrounding areas, and build around that and get our product where we wanted it to be.
Going back to the framework, it really was what makes Athens tick. Mm-hmm. What is Athens? We can't just bring a hockey team like you've just said. There's been 2 failed NHL teams in Atlanta because did they know Atlanta? Did they know the people? Did they actually rally behind and have those people their backers? So when me and Scott sort of sat down and said, okay, what makes Athens tick? Music, artistry, sort of going back to the roots of we're going to listen of what do the people want versus saying, here's the hockey team, love us or don't, you come to the games. So it sort of came back to the Athens bread and butter of just being in the town, going to different places to eat, sort of just living and breathing and saying we want to be part of this community, but we have to understand the community first before we just say, here it is, here's the name, blah, 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 come see us, buy tickets, enjoy a hockey team. When honestly, hockey is growing in the South, but there's still a lot of education that has to go with it of what is hockey? I love the fights. I love the excitement. Okay, do you know what icing is? Do you know what offsides is? Do you know what clipping is? All that stuff people no. I'm okay, I just want to go to fights. So there was an aspect of sort of educating Athens, but also understanding Athens before you even did anything between naming or season tickets or building a coach or a team. It's more, Scott himself and me just sitting around just saying, what is Athens and how can we make a hockey team come to Athens?
And, speaking of Athens, I'm pretty sure they have a football team of some kind there as well.
So it's on the top of my head.
Something like that. But I was thinking about, was there any aspect of, thinking about Las Vegas and Nashville with the Knights and Raiders and, of course, the Predators and the Titans, teams or cities that were traditionally known for college sports. Was there any kind of vibe in Athens that they just wanted a professional team to be able to hang into their repertoire?
Yeah, I mean, I would say yes. And we've really, taken that mantle of being, Athens' hometown pro hockey team. And I think the community has really embraced that. We all know that UGA, I mean, they draw 90,000 fans, a game every Saturday.
Those are just the ones that get in.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Right. And they are. I mean, and rightfully so. They deserve it. They're a national brand where, we come in. Our brand's growing. We certainly want to be a national brand where people understand and know what we're about. But we really did start at the roots of what Britton was alluding to of how do we make this just the hometown team and dig into the culture and music and everything that Athens brings to the table.
The Dogs will always be the favorite son. We know that. We're not going to try to fight that monster. We want to be in conjunction and a good option, but also we're the adopted son. You see how many people come to the games. You see the attention, people claws up. The fan base behind it. They have adopted us as a second son, even though we know we're never going to go against the primary son.
I see sense. Harry Dog and Claudius hanging out together all the time.
Absolutely. Yep.
So real quick, I think people might be interested. What are the mechanics of this? You don't just show up and throw up an arena and say, "Hey, we have a hockey team." Was there a bid process? I mean, how does it actually happen? What are the mechanics of a sports team starting in a new city?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot into it. There's a lot of behind the scenes that really you have to have a plan of attack of what you're going into and how you're going to make this successful. So yeah, there's obviously bids with different ownership groups and things like that. I would say from our side with Spire, they started in hockey back in 2019. They took over 2 teams that just to be transparent, we're struggling across the board on the business side and on the hockey side. their track record came in to both of those teams, turned it around, flipped it. Now they're successful. They're doing very, very well. So I think Britain could chime in too, but that's something that people look at and see that there is a successful track record, and we do have a plan of attack on how to make this as successful as it can be.
Yeah, and I think it goes down to demographics too. We want to be, obviously we talk about community, but also how we're going to drive specific demographics. We are a family fun environment, so understanding the dynamics of the bid process, but is it viable? Obviously, to have a hockey team for long-term growth in Athens, with obviously thinking about how close Atlanta is, Alpharetta, obviously other metros as well. So doing that aspect of the bid process, the league process, naming the team, building a team. So it is a whole. Honestly, I say like a 21-step process from ground up between collateral to material to how we're going to position ourselves in the community. Because people think, UGA is, college students. Now, hockey, we love it. We had drive college students, but, you see kids there just screaming, bang on the glass, and their parents are back there just cheering on with them. So it's like understanding that bid process from, we're going to Athens. What league are we in? What have we been named? How do we build the team? How do we honestly have the success that we've had over the past, year and a half going into obviously, this end of 2 years? First place in the continental division. It's just those things of really understanding on launching season tickets, growing the front office, the jerseys. Everything goes into the merchandise, the rock shop.
The
mascot, everything. It's literally I look back at Scott now, I'm thinking, we made it, man. From those days of just me and him at a conference room, just brainstorming to you have this whole fledged idea in front of you. And so it's hard to sort of go through that bid process because we're now looking back. There's so much there was so much information that we consumed from a fire hose, and I'm glad that we came out on this side unscathed.
It feels a little bit like harmonic convergence, right? Yes. You have a great town with a great atmosphere, hungry for a professional sports team, new arena going up, got a strong organization. You mentioned to me you own a couple NASCAR teams, truck team, there's baseball, got a strong organization, proven track record coming in, and as we'll talk about when we come back from the break, pay a few bills here, a fan base that was clearly hungry to become Lobster Nation or Crustacean Nation as they're called. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show, Q92.3. I'm Bob Furr sitting in for Marc. Going to pay a few bills. We'll be right back.
The Madison Trolley Company is Morgan County's newest 5-star attraction. We offer historic Madison tours year-round, a haunted history experience in the fall, and our Madison Lights Christmas Tour and Mary Maddie Express Adventure for kids have become new holiday traditions. Our private charters add vintage charm to weddings and special occasions abroad. A historic trolley by day, party trolley by night. Find us on the Madison Town Square or get on board by visiting MadisonTrolley.com or calling us at 706-997-1800.
Hey, this is attorney Bart Bitton with Bitton & Bitton. I live and work right here in Monroe, Georgia, and I am proud to serve this area. If you've been hurt in a car accident, you don't need some out-of-town lawyer that treats you like a number. You deserve a local lawyer you can trust, someone who lives here, works here, and takes care of people. So remember this, if you're ever in a car accident, be smart, call Bart. Bitton & Bitton, local lawyers you can trust.
Is technology giving you a tough time at your home or business? Don't worry, Big Mountain Computers is here to help. We're your local tech experts, now open in Madison. Our white glove service ensures personalized solutions for all your IT needs. Hardware fixes, remote support, private lessons, and more. Visit us at Madison Plaza across from Ingalls or call 706-343-4184 to schedule your consultation. That's 706-343-4184. Big Mountain Computers, turning your mountains into molehills.
Make your Easter dinner special with a little help from Stripling's General Store in Bogart. Stop in and visit the deli and see their great selection of fresh steaks cut to order, fresh mouth-watering hams, barbecue, and let's not forget the fresh sausages that you and your family will love. Stripling's will be closed on Easter Sunday to spend time with their family and friends. That's Stripling's General Store, Highway 78 East and Highway 53 in Bogart.
You're listening to the Marc McMain Show on Real Country Q92.3. I'm Bob Furr, filling in for Marc today and every Tuesday while he is seeking a seat in the Georgia State Senate. We're talking to Scott Hall, the president of the Athens Rock Lobsters hockey team, and Britton Briley, who is behind the marketing engine that has made the team so popular. And we are exploring the world of a professional sports team. So I guess the next question logically would be Rock Lobsters. I think some folks are going to know where it came from. I understand maybe you guys didn't know where it came from, but how did they become the Rock Lobsters?
Yeah, it's amazing looking back. But we came in, we were, I've told many people this, we were pretty dead set on naming this team the Panic.
And that'd be Widespread Panic.
For Widespread Panic,
yeah. Classic City Panic.
Yep, absolutely. So, Britain may still kill me to this day, but, we had the whole marketing plan laid out.
The whole brand built.
The whole brand was built. But one thing that Britton and I always talked about is we wanted to get the community involved.
Yeah.
So we did a fan vote for naming the team. And, gosh, how many did we have? 10,000?
First round was 7,000 votes.
Yeah.
Wow. And it was really about probably like 60-40 Class City Panic to Rock Lobsters. But then we said, okay, we're going to do semifinalists.
Yep.
And then the B-52s picked it up, and it was all Rock Lobsters.
So the B-52s got involved in the process.
They did. The second part when they found out.
Have they ever been to a game?
They have. They came out to our very first game at Aiken's Ford Arena.
Mm-hmm. Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah.
How cool is
They
that?
got jerseys and everything.
But
Gotcha.
it is funny looking back because when we saw the emails coming in with Rock Lobsters, it was like, what in the world?
Yeah.
And, we Googled it immediately and we're like, pay homage to the B-52s.
Yeah, exactly.
And we ran with it and the community ran with it. And here we are.
I was going to say, because the B-52s were really big in the 70s and 80s. They had a little bit of a comeback at the end of the 80s, 90s. I know about how old you guys are, so you probably had to look that one up. I'm not surprised to hear that. So, listen, I have been around hockey my whole life, and I can only describe the Rock Lobsters as a phenomenon. I mean, let's just look at some of the accomplishments. Average attendance, 4,500 per game with frequent sellouts. The fan base is rabid. I mean, they are highly engaged. They show up dressed as lobsters. The Rock Lobsters fan page on Facebook is a ride. I mean, it is so much fun. They have watch parties. They go to road games. The merchandise, your store is open all day, every day, not just during games. I see the Lobsters gear everywhere, all over Athens. And I got to say, your atmosphere... I've been to probably 22, 25 NHL barns, and I can name a half dozen that you beat their atmosphere, let alone minor league. How did that happen? Like, how did you make this?
I really think it was having them buy into it. Having them, I just keep on going back to this community first, hockey second. Hockey is an outlet, community is what we do, but having people that come that understand the vision, understand the atmosphere, and honestly, we put on a great show from intro videos. And I say this too, the players are local celebrities. Everybody sees Shinks out there. They see Millsy out there. They used to see Garcia, Greco, even Ports back in the day, the bad boy of Athens for our team. Like, everybody has bought in between fan base, player base, front office base that made it all what it is today. And that's just from my side looking outside in at times.
It has, yeah. And I always love to give kudos to our front office. It is a lean and mean crew. Yep. So there's a lot of hours. There's a lot of legwork to put us where we are at today. And one of the most humbling things that I hear is, when I talk to our head coach post game or something, he'll let me know. He's like, we couldn't even hear ourselves speak. And that's what we want. It's a rowdy atmosphere. And to Britton's point, the players really are local celebrities. And, we're unique in a way where, the players, and this is my favorite thing about hockey, is they go out to the community. They've gone out to schools. They go out to community events. So the fan base gets to know these guys as well. And it helps as they cheer them on during games and whatnot. And, the best, we had our first school day game this season. And,
I was just going to say, you were talking a minute ago about noise. I am not
to bring your Tylenol for that game.
Noise.
We did do 6-7 during that. Just let you know, we did not forget
2,500 school kids and teachers. I mean, it was. Hey, I'll have you know that my section, and specifically me, we had a birthday party there on a lobster's roll. I'm the one that started that wave.
It's incredible, incredible, and it's huge for us. You had a lot of first time kiddos come to the game and see that, and that's another big part of what we want to do is grow the game of hockey as well, and we continue to do that. We want to continue to do the right things.
Yeah, I think our fans are, as you know from the Facebook, they're emotional until if we win, if we lose, if we trade a player, they are completely bought in emotional. So I think that emotional connection brings to that rabid fan base, but that loyal fan base. Every time we go to a game, I don't want to have new people all the time. I want to have that core building and building and building, and then we get that experience from Education Day to different theme nights to bring new people in, then they get added to that core.
In Morgan County, there's a Facebook page called What's Happening in Morgan County, and I mean, I used to start my day with a cup of coffee in that page because it's everything from whose donkey is loose on 83 to, we need it's just fun stuff. Now I kind of alternate back and forth between the Rock Lobsters fan page and it's just phenomenal.
Yeah,
it's great. Mm-hmm. So it's not just that you have this strong brand, like there's a lot of exciting NHL arenas, right? And there's some nuances between like Montreal and Boston, in New York, but the Rock Lobsters, to me, it's so unique, right? Like there's a very unique persona around the team that you brought together. I'd almost say it's more like the Savannah Bananas, but with a real, not the theatrics and stuff like that, than compared to like the Braves, Mm-hmm. So there's a couple things, right? There's the arena is called the Tank.
Unofficial.
Not sure why it's not the Pot, right? I felt like it should be the Pot, but the Tank. The fan base is called Crustacean Nation, and the team has a motto, Claws Up. How did those things come about?
I think Crustacean Nation just flew off our tongues. I mean, I know there's other crustacean-based organizations use the same thing, and I thought when we saw it, people sort of rallied behind it. Heck, I couldn't spell crustacean to save my life for the first month because I was like C's, E's, A's, crap. I couldn't do it. But then Claws Up sort of just became... we were going to try to do Pinch Me. We brainstormed a lot of stuff with the front office on different mottos, different things, and Claws Up and Crustacean Nation won solid out as an internal poll from our side.
Gotcha. And what about, you got a great mascot, Claudius, right? How did you come up with his look, the design, his persona, the name? How did Claudius come to be?
He took a couple versions. There's
that was
some
a
early
process
ones.
as well.
Yeah, there was a couple versions.
By the way, I could see that going wrong in a hurry.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. We wanted to make sure we did it right.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You only have one shot at that.
Yeah.
So.
Even the name, like we were going to do Bisque, like, Lobster Bisque, Griff as the artist that obviously helped us design the logo as well. Then obviously Claudius, and I don't remember what was the fourth one. I don't remember the fourth name, but it was out of those three, but Claudius won, and we did the same thing. We took the fan vote, say, hey, what do you want your mascot to be named? Everybody chimed in. We did a whole poll, and people chose Claudius by a landslide. So we let the community choose again our name, our mascot name, and then they bought into it. So there goes that loyalty again.
And you guys do a great thing. So when they score, every team has a goal song, right? Mm-hmm. And so of course you play the B-52's Rock Lobster, and all the fans get up and they hold their hands over their head and they pinch like a lobster. How did that happen? How did that start?
Oh, well, actually, I think who was it that we used? We actually had to ask B-52s and Crush Malby Music to use the rights to use that,
Gotcha.
even though with the name, rather ask permission on that one versus forgiveness.
And were they cool on that? Like
they were
great.
Absolutely. We made a record for our season ticket holders at the end of the season and all that good stuff, so they actually got to play B-52s. But I think it was just a natural progression. Say, hey, we are Rock Lobsters. Our goal should be, the Rock Lobster song. But then we got a little flair to it. We had a local artist sort of riff it up a little bit, made it a little bit more upbeat versus the 70s song that you hear all the time. So, but I mean, everybody notices in a heartbeat, right? When we score, the lights go on and off, and people stand up, and it's that red light, and people are just claws up moment. I mean, it's great to see.
It is, and I think with opposing teams, it gives them nightmares as they hear that song. So
I was just going to say, I'm not sure everybody feels it's great, right? Because if you play hockey, when you get scored on, it's not bad enough. Unlike other sports, I would say it's not. Maybe in baseball a little bit, you got to tolerate the guy going around the bases, but in hockey, when you get scored on, you got to sit there and endure that goal. And you got the song playing, the lights are red, everybody doing the claws thing. I imagine if you play against Rock Lobsters, you got to hate that song. Hate that moment. So awesome. Hey, you're listening to the Marc McMain Show on Q92.3. I'm Bob Furr, filling in for Marc. Hey, let's transition a little bit and get into the workings of hockey. Let's get into the life of a professional sports team. So you guys play in the Federal Prospects Hockey League. What can you tell us about the league history, its structure, its teams, and where it fits into the hockey world?
Yeah, it's a solid league that we're proud to be a part of. There's 14 teams in the league. It stretches from Binghamton, New York, all the way down to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So we've had success in the league. Hope to bring a championship home this year. But we're on a good run right now and hope to continue to do that. But yeah, a day in the life of a player, it's a grind, no doubt about it. It's 56 games, start about mid-October, and we go through mid-April. And then playoffs get going right after that. So there are some long trips, but luckily too, and what we love about this league is we do have some teams that are geographically close to us.
Yeah, it seems like most of the teams in the Lobsters Conference are more in the South, and then in the other conference,
Empire versus Continental.
More,
but
north.
Is SP and Fed are fourth or fifth in our hierarchy of NHL, AHL, ECHL, SPHL, so we're fifth tier down.
Yeah.
That still has quite a bit of teams, which is good for being the fifth tier down in pro hockey.
Yeah, and is that so? It's a development league. I know you guys don't have an NHL affiliation. I think you mentioned that happens like at the ECH level. What's the purpose of other than just having people come out and be entertained? What's the role of it in the hockey world, the FPHL?
Yeah, for sure. From the hockey ops side, the number one goal, obviously, we want to win a championship, no doubt about it. But we also, mainly is we want to get these guys moved up. We want to further their careers and ultimately get to that NHL level and further their careers. So, we've done that. We've got a good track record of guys getting called up to higher minor league levels. Most recently, we had Troy Murray this year. He played on our team last year. He made it up to the AHL. So literally just one step away.
So that's interesting. I know when I was in business, I used to always love to say that, there's nothing I want more than to see somebody on my team promoted. And that was at least 80% true, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously when you lose somebody getting promoted, you're losing a talent. You mentioned how they become a fabric of the community. I know there's been some changes lately. I've seen it on the fan page. People are kind of losing their minds about that. How do you manage that dynamic? How do you manage that dynamic of having players come and go like that?
I think on our side, from a marketing and PR side, is we're given the opportunity to move up. And I know people are loyal. People love them. They come cheer them. They wear their jersey. There is an emotional connection to it. But on the flip side, we're trying to make sure that they either move to a team that they can progress, grow if they're going to a higher league, or if they're being recalled back to us, hey, welcome home. We're not making that thing of you went from one team to us or you went up or down. I think it's more like the progression of sports and progression of the players. And they understand that too. I mean, from their early NCAA days to, the I would say even the developmental leagues that aren't even pro hockey, they know I got to move up, move down, and position themselves for that jump and leap.
Yeah, and I would say our fan base has been phenomenal on the fact when guys get called up, they're the same how I feel. We're sad to see them go, but happy for them at the same time. The nature of the beast is when we do have trades, and we just had the biggest trade in our history last week, and unfortunately, we let go of 3 guys, and one in particular that's been here for 2 seasons or a season and a half, and if it was my decision, we could keep all of them, right? That we wish we could, but end of the day, we make decisions on what can get us that championship and what can get us to where we want to be. And to Britton's point, anywhere we send guys, we're going to put them in a good spot, where they can continue, and certainly can always call Athens their home. So.
Yeah, I would think if I was playing in the FPHL, Athens would be a darn good place to be.
Best barn in the league. Not just me saying that.
Yeah, it's really cool. So you're listening to the Marc McMain Show on Q92.3. I'm Bob Furr filling in for Marc. We're going to pay some bills. We'll be right back, and we'll learn a little bit about the workings of a professional hockey team.
If you're in the construction business, you're going to need a dumpster at some point in time, and that's why you need to call Atha Equipment Rental in Monroe, now offering 20 and 30-yard cans. Atha Equipment Rental now offers a complete line of landscape and construction equipment like tools, trenchers, floor sanders, jackhammers, and so much more, like rentals for your parties with tables, chairs, popcorn machines, Dunkin' booths, and more. Call Jason Atha at 770-207-6041. That's Atha Equipment Rental on East Spring Street in Monroe.
Recently, I was on a flight writing on a legal pad, and the man next to me struck up a conversation. "Are you an author?" he asked. I said, "No, I'm actually a preacher." Well, the look on his face was priceless. How would you feel if you're stuck sitting next to a preacher for several hours? Surprisingly, though, we had a good conversation. He asked me several questions about Jesus, and I told him that the Bible says if Jesus didn't rise from the dead, Christianity is worthless. Ever thought about that? You see, the truthfulness of Christianity hinges on whether Jesus died and rose from the grave. There's great evidence for it, and I'm one of the billions of Christians around the globe who believes that the resurrection really happened. If Jesus did conquer death, then he's worthy of your trust. If he didn't, reject him because he's a fraud. I believe he really conquered death. What do you believe? This is Brian Wright, speaking right from my heart.
For devotions, visit rightfromtheheart.org.
When you walk through the doors of Campton Restaurant, you're not just here for a meal, you're part of a tradition. I'm fourth generation owner Josh Parker, and for nearly 40 years, families in Walton County and surrounding areas have gathered around our tables to share stories, laughter, and good Southern cooking. From crispy fried chicken to heart-healthy daily specials, there's always a plate waiting with your name on it. We're open Tuesday through Thursday from 11 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. and 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays. So come on by, make yourself at home, and experience Campton Restaurant, where family tradition meets every meal.
Welcome back to Real Country Q92.3, the Marc McMain Show. I'm Bob Furr, filling in for Mark today, talking with Scott Hull, president of the Athens Rock Lobsters professional hockey team, and the man behind the marketing machine, Britton Briley. Scott, I realized when you were talking, I left one thing off my checklist of accomplishments. Very first season in the league, you made the playoffs, and just a game or two ago, clinched for the playoffs this season as well. So there'll be playoff hockey in Athens for the second straight year.
We're so back.
Great. That's right. So back. Great job. So let me just ask you, so we have the Athens Rock Lobsters that are named after the B-52 song. You sell a lot of those foam lobster claws that I see. Claws up, is kind of the team motto. When they score, everybody puts their hands over their heads and does the claws thing, and you got the mascot, Claudius. Exactly when did you guys find out that rock lobsters don't actually have claws?
I think the moment we announced the team,
Yep.
the fan base, and then obviously the arch rivals were like, rock lobsters don't have claws. I'm like, okay, you know what? You can imagine them, whatever.
That's right.
Our mascot does.
Gotcha. Well, let's talk a little bit about the players. So where do they come from? Like nationalities, where were they playing before? Just give us a little bit of the background, and maybe include in that, what do you look for in a player, and what makes a player want to choose the Rock Lobsters?
Yeah, absolutely. The number one thing is we want guys that'll fit our culture. And it goes back to Britton's point. We know we're community first, hockey team second, and obviously we want talent as well. But yeah, we get these guys from all over. We have guys from Canada. We have a guy from Sweden. We have two Russians.
Yeah.
That aspect is great too, and having that. And then most of the guys, typically come from some of the northern states and things like that, where hockey is prevalent, right? And but we're happy, as Britton pointed out earlier, it continues to grow here in the South. So, it's kind of like a recruiting process. We pluck guys from different leagues and things like that, and you like to have a mix of younger guys, and you like to have some of that veteran leadership of guys that have been, playing pro hockey for a while and know the ins and outs and the day to day and things like that to help guide, especially our younger guys. And then obviously with Athens, it's a great place to be, right? You got Atlanta right down the road. You got Greenville, South Carolina right up the road. So, if you want the big city, you're not far, right? You're just an hour away. And it is a college town, and it's a bustling community, and it continues to grow. And, especially for the players, the amenities and things like that is, we cover their housing and we put them up in good spots. And then, of course, Aikens Ford Arena. It's beautiful. It's, brand new. And, and again, it comes back to our fan base. It's easy for us to approach players and be like, hey, on weekends, we're going to have 5,000 plus here cheering you on, and it is a big family, and that goes a long way with the guys. And a big thing is, we want to make sure we treat them right and treat them the best that we can.
Yeah, and I think it also goes back down to hockey ops, and even from year one with Marty to year two, obviously with Ruts, is showcasing that it's not just the players, but the leadership as well that's going to drive them harder, to help push them, and also have a track record of winning. Say you want to be part of something that's going to win. I remember we did the recruitment video for Ruts and Marty, and I was like, it showcased everything you do in Georgia, from the dogs games to enjoying downtown, to the barn, to the amenities, and I think that helps the players say, I want to choose Athens for the first class experience in FPHL, but also the fun is like, okay, I want to go do something outside versus being in a northern state or in Canada. It's like, okay, it's cold outside all the time. I can't go enjoy and do something. So it's like the livelihood on top of the sport and the leadership on top of it. So.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. On a side note, hockey guys love the golf.
Yes.
It's their big thing.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
you get a lot of opportunities here in Georgia to go out and hit the links.
And are they coming from where I would suspect they come from? Some are out of college, some out of juniors. I know you had at least one player was in the AHL. I mean, that's one step removed from the National Hockey League. Are they coming from just basically all different channels? And if so, how do you find them? Like, how does the plug-in get made between a player and the Rock Lobsters?
Yeah, for sure. And that is a big part of, when we bring on a coach. And Steve Martinson last year did a phenomenal job. And this year, our head coach, Garrett Rutledge, our head coach and GM, we bring them in and trust that, they know, they have connections. And, those of you that are Georgia fans, it's very similar. You have the recruiting pipeline and, other coaches and players and they use all those things to their ability to get the right guys and make this a good fit. And we're in a really amazing spot. A lot of players want to come here and play. So we do have that luxury that not all teams do. But it helps us as well to make sure, we get the guys that again, fit our culture and what we're trying to do.
Yep. Gotcha. Well, I think probably when I take people who haven't been, by the way, Chastity, I was just about to talk about, when I take people to hockey games that haven't been to hockey games before. And by the way, anyone I've ever taken to a hockey game who's never been to a hockey game before has walked out saying, okay, now I get it, right? And so, Chastity, you've never been to a hockey game. As you're sitting here listening,
I so want to join you guys. So I can't wait for my claws
up. She's doing claws up.
Jump on the lobster roll.
There you go. Another member of Crustacean Nation is
absolutely
born.
I'm excited.
So the most common question I bring when somebody doesn't know hockey to a game is like, why did they blow the whistle, right? Offsides, icing, that sort of thing. The second most common question is, what do these guys make, right? I mean, this is the end of the day is a job. So to whatever extent you're comfortable talking about it, like what's the salary of a player and how are they taken care of? And, do they have other jobs? Tell us about what hockey looks like in their life and how their life works around hockey.
Yeah, for sure. It's like all minor league sports. There is a salary cap, and we have to stay within that. And it's not lucrative at this level, but that's where it comes in of taking care of their living and putting them in good apartments and houses and things like that, and having all the other amenities, whether they go on the road or during their off time, we provide those things for them as well. So that always goes a long way on that front.
And when you think about the guys on the team, like, are they all trying to make it to the NHL or to the next level? Are some of them just trying to get a few more years of hockey in before they have to get a real job? What's the mindset of the players in terms of where hockey fits in their life and how long?
Yeah, for sure. I think anyone that plays sports, speaking on behalf of our veterans, it is tough to hang it up. It's hard. There's no doubt about it. And, some of the older guys that we have, we made the playoffs last year. It was a very successful year, but, ultimately, we didn't get where we wanted to be, and that's to win a championship. And, especially with some of our returners, we want to win a championship and
run it back.
Yep. Yeah, run it back. And, we want their careers to end on a high note too. And, that's something that they can always cherish forever. And certainly with the younger guys, they are looking to move up and see where they can go.
Yeah, I think I call them legacy players. They're the pros. They're the leadership side of it. I also see what Brandon Picard just did. He was one of our leadership team, but he's now assistant coach. So they might even transition that aspect of it. I might not reach the NHL, AHL, but I want to coach. I want to have that experience of being under the tutelage of Garrett Rutledge or Marty or coaching staff. Say, okay, how do I transition into that coaching aspect that they still love the sport? They might not be able to put too many more years on the ice that their bodies can handle it, because it's a very rugged sport.
It's a tough sport.
But I can see them using that as, I was part of a winning organization, a winning franchise, organization that loves the players, love what they do, and then how do we help them excel into different positions if it is I know some hockey teams, they bring their guys in front office. I know sometimes they put them on coaching staff. They let them do training camps. Like even, heck, I know Ports was up, in ECHL. He came down for training camp just to show him some of his moves that he learned with the Cyclones and everything. So it's like those aspects, I think, is really the gravity of where these guys are sort of going, how they're going to go. But again, I don't know. I can't speak too much for them.
No, it's great points, and that's the thing. Like, we're a family. Any player that's played here and has even moved on, like, they're still a part of the Rock Lobster family. They're always welcome back anytime. Portillo last season, he was definitely a fan favorite, and he's now up in the AA level and all that. But he tells me all the time how much he misses it here in Athens, and he felt that the culture. It comes back to the culture, and to Britton's point, whether if it's not hockey, if it's coaching, or it's something else outside of the sports world, like, we're here to help. So.
Hey, I'm going to apologize for blindsiding you a little bit because you just made me think of something. And so we all saw during the Olympics, after Team USA won the gold, they brought out Johnny Gaudreau's kids and, Johnny Gaudreau's jersey. Rock Lobsters have a pretty similar story to that. If you're comfortable, would you like to just maybe, I'm sorry, I didn't warn you I was going to ask this, but love to, I think it's such a great story. I think it's worth sharing with people.
Yeah. Obviously, we did lose Orca in a horrific traffic accident, and that was tough. That's probably the worst phone call you could ever get hearing about that. And we're still working out some things on what we can do with the family. We've talked with some other local leaders and things like that to get a scholarship going and things like that. So it's a big thing at the top of my list during the off season as we continue to honor his legacy. And like I said, it is a family, and it's tough. The guys bring his jersey out every game, and you see it. And,
for 88.
He has his own stall, in the locker room and whatnot. So like I said, it's certainly never a phone call you want to get. And we are still in the works of doing everything that we can to support the family and the team on that regard.
From the 88 patch to our hashtag 488. We just did our playoff shirts. We put a little orc on there. Like, there's things that we're constantly adding to showcase that, because it's a brotherhood. The players felt it super hard because it's like one of your best friends is gone, and how do you honor his legacy? Even his brother that scored his first NHL goal with the Predators, he first looked straight up, and he pointed up, and everybody knew exactly. He was like, "This is for my brother." So it's reached farther than just Athens, farther than just our player base, our front office. It's reached to their families and their fan base, and everybody felt it across the whole industry. That was a sad day, and it was a whole thing that we sort of had to take in and just understand the ramifications, and how can we constantly honor his legacy.
Well, you guys have certainly done a great job with that. Like you said, his jersey is hanging on the bench every single game. The players do such a great job at the end of the game. After a win, they'll come out, or a loss even, but they'll come out, they'll skate around. They're always carrying his jersey, and then they do the big salute to the fans. I've always said, nothing against other sports, but I do think hockey culture is a little bit unique.
It is.
You saw this with the tragic death of Dan Snyder when the Thrashers were in town. You see it with Johnny Gaudreau. You see it at all levels. There's definitely something different about that culture of hockey. Herb Brooks once said, the name on the front of the jersey is a heck of a lot more important than the name on the back, and I think that gets remembered in hockey about as good as it does anywhere. So we're talking to Scott Hull, the president of the Athens Rock Lobsters, along with Britton Briley behind their marketing magic. I'm Bob Furr, sitting in for Marc McMain on the Marc McMain Show. You're listening to Real Country Q92.3. I'm getting a little tongue-tied after the whole Weisblatt thing. And we'll be back after a few messages.
The Madison Trolley Company is Morgan County's newest 5-star attraction. We offer historic Madison tours year-round, a haunted history experience in the fall, and our Madison Lights Christmas Tour and Mary Maddie Express Adventure for kids have become new holiday traditions. Our private charters add vintage charm to weddings and special occasions abroad. Historic trolley by day, party trolley by night. Find us on the Madison Town Square or get on board by visiting madisontrolley.com or calling us at 706-997-1800.
It's official. President Trump has endorsed Burt Jones for governor.
Burt Jones has been an incredible leader. This man has my complete and total endorsement, and I really want to see him win.
Burt Jones is a trusted Trump conservative who's leading the fight to end Georgia's state income tax.
He's going to make a great, great governor. You will be very happy, Georgia. Burt Jones has my complete and total endorsement.
Paid for by Burt Jones for Georgia.
Leadfoot Mulching and Grading offers land clearing, hauling of gravel and sand, and more. And now offering screen topsoil for the farmer or homeowner. Asphalt paving and more. No job is too big or small. Locally owned and operated, it's Leadfoot Mulching and Grading. Serving all of North Georgia. Fair prices and great customer service. Phone 404-909-5227 or go to leadfootmulching.com.
Are you looking for custom t-shirts, golf shirts, or uniforms for yourself or work? What about a family reunion, a fundraiser, or sports team? Whatever you're looking for, Chris and Debbie at Blue Hound in Monroe can help you. Real Country uses Blue Hound for our golf shirts and t-shirts. They do quality work and they're great folks. Blue Hound is located at 111 East Washington Street in Monroe. Go by and see what they can do for you or call 404-307-3664. That's 404-307-3664. Tell them April sent you.
Need a little pick-me-up? We've got just the thing. From Motown magic to British invasion brilliance, from classic country gold to rock and roll that raised a gentleman. We play the songs that make you smile, sing along, and remember when life moved just a little slower. Feel good again with the 50s, 60s, 70s, and early 80s on Good Time Oldies FM 102.5 WKUN, where every song is a memory waiting to happen.
The Madison Trolley Company is Morgan County's newest 5-star attraction. We offer historic Madison tours year-round, a haunted history experience in the fall, and our Madison Lights Christmas Tour and Mary Maddie Express Adventure for kids have become new holiday traditions. Our private charters add vintage charm to weddings and special occasions abroad. A historic trolley by day, party trolley by night. Find us on the Madison Town Square or get on board by visiting madisontrolley.com or calling us at 706-997-1800.
You're listening to Real Country 92.3, the Marc McMain Show. Bob Furr sitting in for Mark today. We are talking to Scott Hall, the president of the Athens Rock Lobsters, and Britton Briley, who is behind, I guess I'll call it Lobster Mania. I haven't heard that name used. Before I forget, I will say, I know you guys are a little bit young for this, but I was mentioning to Scott, I think there's one miss that I've seen in your marketing, and it's understandable because you guys are young for this, but on the show Friends, there was a big thing where Phoebe thought that lobsters mate for life. And so became a whole big theme of You're My Lobster. And so I know it's a little before your time, but like my daughter rewatched all the Friends. When that kiss can comes up, I really think maybe there's an opportunity
Lobster
for
for life.
You're My Lobster and such like that.
Do something for Valentine's Day next year.
There you go. Hey, so let's talk about what it takes to put a team on the ice. I saw a statistic that says, it takes 4 to 8 people behind the scenes to put one single player on the ice. Talk to us a little bit about the Rock Lobsters organization, from the ownership group, on down, the front office staff. Let's start with the ownership group. We talked a little bit about it, but just give us a quick snapshot of Spire.
Yeah, like I said, I've been with Spire for 6 years, and it's by far and away the best ownership I've been a part of. They treat their big mantra too is respect. So it goes a long way. They've used that since day one, and we use that here with the Rock Lobsters as well. But yeah, it's an impressive group. They own 4 hockey teams now, and then the exciting other side to it is the motorsports side, where they have 3 charters in NASCAR.
And I was going to ask you about that because you mentioned to me, that one of the things that's attractive to a player coming to the Rock Lobsters is you got an ECHL team, right? So right in the family, we got a team that they might want to move up to.
Yep.
3 of them, yeah. So I was also thinking about the NASCAR night. You had that unbelievable NASCAR night, and what'd you have? 8 how many drivers did you have there?
9 drivers.
9 drivers, yeah.
And big names. I mean,
Kyle Busch
got a nice
Ross
boo from the crowd.
Chastain,
I've heard 2 people booed so far. One was Buzz from Georgia Tech during the mascot day, and then Kyle Busch.
Yeah. He takes like a grain of salt.
Yeah, but that was, so were you able to leverage that NASCAR relationship in order to make that night? Like, what are some of the synergies you're able to take advantage of?
Yeah, specifically for that night, Britton put a lot of work in that one as well, because that one is a process, not only working with Spire, but working with NASCAR to make sure we stay within the guidelines and everything there. But yeah, it turned out to be one of our more successful nights that we've had since we've been here, and Spire was instrumental in that, and having those connections and things like that, and building a model of a race car with our logo on it. That was really cool. So. The neatest thing about Spire too is they have full trust in what we're doing down here and let us run with it, and it's really us presenting our ideas on what we were looking for that night, and they're always willing there to help. And one more note on Spire too, and how that camaraderie is so important is we took our front office to the race in Atlanta a few weeks ago, and all the racing teams on that side were so pumped seeing us there and supporting them, where likewise Spire brought 30-40 employees to our game and supported us. So it goes both ways, and it means a lot having them.
And what are they cup teams, or I know you had a truck team? What are the teams that they actually have in NASCAR?
Yep. So on the motorsports side, with the NASCAR Cup Series, they have the 7, the 71, and the 77 car with Michael McDowell, Carson Hocevar, and Daniel Suarez. So
cool. So now let's move into let's work our way down from the top of the arena down to the ice. Like, what are the functions in the Rock Lobster's front office, right? We got a president. What are the other functions that we have?
Yeah, for sure. And that's a big part of it, when Britton and I, sat down and we're piecing how we want to build out this organization as well. That's the other side, that's extremely important, and bringing in the right people. So we have 2 VPs in Anthony Schaff and Bob McNamara, and then we have our director of community, Lindsay Bornhorst. We have our director of game ops, Sarah Olivia, and then Brandon Lee, Nathan Crouch, Alex Lavalarte, that fills out the rest of our front office, and Lynn, who runs our merch as well, which is an integral part of our on the business side as well, and that experience for fans. So it's a lean and mean crew, and I can't say enough of how much hard work they put in, because it is not just Britton and I.
No.
And
not enough hours in the day.
And you got to bring in good people. And I've learned, like, you gotta trust them. And we have that full trust. And there are certainly things that I can't do that they have the ability to do. And we have a good mix of some of us that have been in the sports world for a decade and whatnot, and others that are just getting into it. So we have a good variety of when we plan out our theme nights and what's relevant right now and all that good stuff.
It's very collaborative. I mean, even from jersey designs to theme nights to activations, it is a whole team effort. You sit down and say, okay, we have a promo meeting every Thursday, and say, okay, what's going on with this promo? What are we doing? How are we activating? How are we getting in the community? How are we doing stuff with our partners, our sponsors? And it's that aspect of what Scott said. There's a trust factor, but also there's like an expectation that we are going to do the best we can for our community, for our fan base, and for the experience they're going to have in and outside of the barn and Aikens Ford Arena.
Yeah, and Alex is my guy as a sponsor contact. I love his story, right? Took a chance, pursued his dream, and to really be in sports, and a great story there. And you mentioned being a lean organization. I always try to talk to him at games, but he's usually running, literally.
Oh yeah,
we're always running.
Running to get someplace. Let's real quick touch on the team itself, right? So we haven't really talked about the coaching staff, equipment, trainers, that sort of thing. Just real quick profile of what it takes to keep hockey players.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, we have obviously our head coach Garrett Rutledge, who oversees everything down there on the hockey ops side. We have June, who's our new athletic trainer this year, has done a phenomenal job. And then we have Micah, which we love. We still need to come up with a theme night just for him because it's Micah Swift Taylor.
Yeah.
So
I don't think too much into
there's got to be something there. So
you don't think the B-52
the Aris tour?
Taylor Swift B-52s can't help you out with Taylor?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they do a great job. And then we have other personnel that's down there on game days. Piedmont, who's our medical partner. They've been fun. I can't say enough how phenomenal they've been with us. But we have Dr. Alex Graff. That's our team doc. So, because we certainly have injuries. And then, of course, we have Commerce Dental. So we definitely got to have a dental partner in hockey.
Miss a couple teeth.
So, those folks there, we just can't thank them enough. They've been huge for us.
Well, let's segue into sponsors a little bit because I mentioned being a sponsor of the team and give it a shout out to Anthony Schaff. I mean, I called the team because I'm a lifelong hockey guy. I retired. I started my own company, kind of a bucket list thing. Let me put my name on the boards type of thing. Probably would have ended with that. And he came up with this creative idea for a video that Britt and your team put together. Talk to us real quick about the relationship of sponsors in the team.
Yeah, for sure. The first thing I always say is, we don't think of it in terms as business per se. It's a relationship. We want to help our sponsors as much as they help us. And that's, bringing up Anthony, that's where the creativity comes in. And that's the beauty of being in minor league sports, too. You can try some things and see if it works. My big thing on that front is, hey, at least, sometimes maybe it doesn't work, but we tried something and maybe it is something outside the box that works. But, personally on my side, like, I just love to hear the story. I love to hear the background of different companies and organizations of how they started and where they're at and what they're looking for and build off of that premise. And, we customize everything we do. Nothing is set in stone, and it's listening and figuring out what works for both parties on that front.
I'll take this on your side, Bob. It's like when we first sat down and met over Zoom and Google Meet or whatever it was, and we had multiple meetings, had multiple storyboards. It's like it wasn't just, oh, Bob, this is what we can do. What do you want? It's like, okay, what's your ideas? What's your vision? Let's do this lobsters roll, and let's figure out this commercial in black and white to fun, to get Claudius involved, to get a motorcycle involved, to drive
the police. We had the police
all the way to go all the way to Madison. Like, it was completely just bringing that Madison, Trolley, Athens Rock Lobsters together versus like, do you have a commercial? Throw it to us. We'll throw it on the Jumbotron. Right. How do we really customize it and make it yours that you're proud about, that we're proud about, that we post and have fun those ways? So,
well, and I think we say you guys are responsible for two firsts. Madison's is 217 years old, and in 2025, I'm pretty sure it's the first time that a professional hockey team ever filmed a promo in town, and the first time a professional hockey team mascot was ever in the Christmas parade. So hey, we got Chastity on board coming to games. Let's talk to the people out there. You do these great jobs with theme nights, right? There's the teddy bear toss, the education day we talked about, NASCAR night, Stick It to Cancer. You got a whole bunch left. What do you got in store? You're making the playoffs. What's in store for the rest of the season? How do people get plugged in? How do they get tickets? How do they look into season tickets for next year? I think Chastity's going to want to talk to a season ticket agent after her first game. Tell us how people plug into this and get involved in the Athens Rock Lobsters.
Yeah, for sure. We have something for everybody. It's a family fun environment and whatnot too. And this weekend we have First Responders Night. We have Capes and Crowns,
baby.
That's new, right? I saw you added to Capes and Crown and St. Patrick's Day.
Exactly.
I saw you added on there.
Yeah. So Sunday specifically, we're going to have 20 to 25 superheroes and princesses out. We're going to have the 1989 Batmobile out on the plaza, so come check that out. And then the following weekend is one that's dear, obviously, to a lot of people, myself included. It's our annual Stick It to Cancer night. So we're looking forward to that one. And then our last weekend, it's kind of crazy, of the regular season, we have Rodeo Night on Friday, April 3rd, and Star Wars Night, which Britain's always excited about.
Best for last.
Saturday, April 4th. So, you can reach us at 706-570-2959 or 510-2959, and obviously rocklobstershockey.com.
Yeah, and we're talking to some folks that probably aren't used to going to hockey games, and it may seem like, Athens. I'll say this: if you can drive, put it this way: if Athens is close enough to go to a UGA game, then it's certainly close enough to go to a Rock Lobsters game. And there's a lot less traffic.
I would honestly say, just come to one game. Once you come to one game, you'll experience it. You'll see you're hooked. Like, just give us one chance, and I guarantee you'll walk away amazed.
Yes.
You're listening to the Marc McMain Show on Q92.3. I'm Bob Furr. We're getting close to wrapping up here. Let's close it out this way, guys. And I know maybe you want to include community and stuff like that. What have been the highlights for you guys personally and as an organization as you look back on these past 2 years?
Yeah, I mean, sitting in a conference room at the start, and just Britton and I at the very beginning, and then seeing our staff and our hockey ops side grow and grow, and seeing the fan base grow. To wrap up real quick, I get goosebumps when we have sellouts.
Yeah, awesome.
All that hard work that comes to fruition, and I love it for our staff to see what their hours and everything that they've put into it has come to fruition.
And Britton, if somebody wants to replicate the magic that you've produced for the Athens Rock Lobsters, how do they get in contact with
you
Ghost
can't
Brands?
replicate it. It's a one-off. I'm joking.
Let's say I want to. How do I get in touch with Ghost Brands?
Same thing. AthensRockLobsters.com. I'm on their staff page, but obviously I own Ghost Brands. GhostBrands.com. Branding, marketing, advertising, the works. But go to Athens Rock Lobsters first. RockLobstersHockey.com.
Awesome, Scott. Thank you so much for being here. Britton, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for what you've brought to Athens and the community, and what you do for the community. I think it's safe to say with Chastity, we have at least one convert in the room.
Absolutely.
And we didn't even need to get her to a game. So this is Bob Furr on Q92.3 Real Country, the Marc McMain Show, filling in for Mark. We will talk to you tomorrow, but I will talk to you next Tuesday. Take care.